Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to JHC's live series on Filipino American entrepreneurs called Filipino Hustle Fridays. I'm really happy to invite and welcome my guest, JV Labuano. You correct me if I totally mess up your last name.
That's okay.
And Dem Carino. Thank you
Hi.
so much for hopping on to my show.
It's a pleasure to be here, and thanks for inviting us.
Yes,
I
thank you.
will, yeah. So a little bit about them. And first, some housekeeping items too. Don't forget to like and share and comment for those of you who are joining us live. Or if you happen to catch the recording, don't hesitate to still comment and share because we would love to interact with those who catch this later on. So JV Labuano and Dem Carino met in the apparel industry where they used to compete against each other, as a matter of fact. They've joined multiple Filipino-themed events and discovered that they share a vision, the same vision, to bring all Filipino-owned businesses in the U.S. together. It's kind of similar to what I'm hoping to do with this show. JV started Adobers during the pandemic and was later on joined by Dem, who now keeps the front of the show running. And they're working every day side by side to connect all Filipino businesses and communities. This is awesome. I'm so glad to have y'all on. Please introduce yourselves and tell me what it is that you mainly do. And I know Adobers is like a passion side hustle project, and we'll talk about Adobers pretty soon.
Sure. Thank you for the introduction. So, again, guys, my name is JV. I am a web designer and developer by trade. I run my own web design studio, and I founded Adobers last year, like what Julie mentioned. It's like a passion project for the longest time behind my mind. Like, I wanted to bring up something. I want to put up something like a platform that would be known as a Filipino platform, but I had no idea what it is. And then until the pandemic took place and I had to stay home, all of us had to stay home, and then I had time to think of something to create, and that's how Adobers was born.
And my name is Demeven. My day job is working as an IT and graphics manager and in the printing industry. And I met JV at one of the on several Filipino festivals. You know, we both had our apparel brands, and we were competing, but it was a friendly competition because during breaks we would be talking to each other and we would be, talking about what can we do for the Filipino community. It's always been that type of conversation, and which is why I'm actually very grateful for him to when he asked me to join Adobers, because it's giving me an opportunity to expand on what I started with my clothing company, which is really to uplift and elevate the Filipino community.
That's so awesome. I'm so glad your passions aligned. And I think that's what's so beautiful about the Filipino community. We really have the spirit of helping one another out. We really love doing that for everybody in general. I know we have a reputation for being the nicest people on the planet, right? I've seen
Absolutely.
it. I'm not claiming it. I just know, and that's what I
Nice
hear.
sometimes.
I know, a little bit. So how many years, I guess you could say, for both of you, how many years have you been doing your profession as designers and even in the apparel industry? What could you say, how would all that experience contribute to what you're doing now with Adobers and how you're helping out the Filipino community?
Go ahead, Demeven.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want
to tag one another.
Yeah, I actually don't want to give an exact number because it will show how much older I am. But it has been a while, and working working in the IT and the graphics. I've worked with a lot of small businesses and people that are starting up, and we know how hard it is to start up something, and it's that passion of helping how to get someone to the next level is what's kind of driving me also with what we are doing here at the Adobers, and that's pretty much it for me. Go ahead, JB.
So for me, I've been in the design industry for like 17 or 18 years. I'm more comfortable giving out numbers. So it's about 17 to 18 years as a web designer and graphic designer. Before, back in the Philippines, I used to have my own shop in Green Hills, for those who are watching should know that place. So it's also an apparel business, and which I brought here to the US, but with like a different objective. It's like to, because back there it was like gifts and promotional items. But when I started the business here, the apparel business in the US, it's more of this same goal with Demeven. It's like um, bringing Filipinos together or representing Filipinos together or representing Filipinos in the industry or in the US. That's how it came about. And but I had to close down the apparel business because I'm feeling the need to do something else. And the design and web design business, and I mean, the web design experience has helped me a lot in putting up Adobers together because Adobers is a web application itself. So um, having done a lot of um, um, having done a lot of complex websites in the past and applications has helped me um, put the platform together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I think it really contributes. And um, that's the thing about entrepreneurial and being a creative is just you definitely want to eventually experiment with so many different things, right? You've tried a little bit with apparel and working with that, and now with website design, I could see you venturing out into some other things, and who knows how Adobers unfolds in the near future.
Yep, absolutely.
So with both of you, what have you, and this is my curiosity, and I know there's my pictures that I want to follow and make sure, but for both of you, what have you noticed in the last year as far as interest and membership? It seems like you've already gotten plenty of members. I also have your website open, so I could just kind of show everyone what it looks like. You've got several members already signing up, and you're featuring, it's like a website that has a listing of all the businesses based out of America, right? And these are great numbers for the first year.
Thank you. So yeah, I think part of the engagement on the platform is also brought about by, well, I'm going to put a silver lining on the pandemic because everyone's home. Everyone can go anywhere, they're stuck, and they're looking for, especially Filipinos, looking for things to do, but you cannot just go out of the house and stroll. So Filipinos resort to social media, and we're known for like Philippines is known for like being the social media capital of the world, and that's somehow somehow happened to Filipinos in the U.S. too. So pandemic has contributed a lot to this engagement. So that's how we got those numbers, and yeah.
And the amazing thing about this is that when you say that the first year, one thing that really stands out is also is while we're doing all this social media marketing, all of this social sending out newsletters and everything, we've noticed a really good support from the community. We are noticing that people are getting excited. They're giving us good feedback that they love what we are doing, because it is really all about connecting and connecting not just we're starting with the business, but it's not just the businesses. We're trying to focus on highlighting Filipino talents, organizations, and so on. So a lot of the support from the communities, it's really amazing. It's kind of giving me and JB more energy to continue what we're doing, and it's telling us, as JB would say, it's affirming what we are doing, that we're on the right direction here. Let's keep going, and then let's keep this on, and hopefully more people will support this and make the connection stronger within the Filipino community here in the US.
Yes, I think Adobers is definitely meeting a need in our niche community. I'm discovering new things through social media, right? Just so many different businesses I never knew existed in our community, in Canada, here in the US, even social media influencers that are Filipino, have Filipino heritage. So it's really fascinating and it is inspiring. So I'm
Mhm.
glad that you are providing this online platform for you to feature these businesses all in one place. So I'm really excited to see how it develops. What have you noticed, like with any of your members, if you have any favorite ones? I mean, maybe not to mention favorite, not to get controversial, or just, if there's any other types of feedback you're getting for just being on your website or just even being part of your group.
Go ahead, then.
well, piggybacking on what we said earlier about the support, there's one listing that we featured. For example, she's an author, and just going through the correspondence when I'm allowed to say, oh, so how's your listing doing, or how are we doing, how are we helping you, and through the course of our conversation, that that support from the community is always what's standing. So it's not just from us. We're actually people that we are actually helping are feeling the same way too. And it's kind of just like feed the energies feeding off each other, and it's just amazing. So those are one of the few things. There's a lot, and it's just amazing how we would, because we're interacting with people from the East Coast, and they would reach out to us. Hey, can we post um, job job opportunities, because we want instead of giving it to others, that might as well have it within the community first, give the Filipinos the first chance to get this job or what have you. So
Yeah.
that's just it's just amazing. So it's just amazing how it's all over the US, and we would also a lot of Filipinos in Canada, and we would tell them that we're just starting in the US, but we're trying to take this globally, right, JV?
Yep, yep, yeah. So just to build on a little bit more on what Demeven said, yeah, we like it when businesses are interested in collaborating with us, or not just businesses, even individuals, professionals, because so far we have proven that our collaborative efforts bring in results. And like what Devin was saying earlier, with this particular author, like she's never seen any growth in her social media. We've collaborated with food businesses who's seen like a ton of engagement in her posts, and like service business that provides tax services that has been getting a lot of attention because of the collaboration that we're doing. And the results just give us a feeling that what we're doing is right, that
Yeah.
we're doing something in the right direction, like what Dem said. And it just confirms, it just affirms that we're in the right track, and we can get to what we want to go by pushing through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh, sorry.
oh
Go
yeah,
ahead.
no, go ahead. I was
Oh
going
no,
to
I was just
ask
going to
another
add on,
question.
because speaking of collaboration, and that's a big part of what we're doing right now. In order for us to maximize our efforts, we're trying to collaborate with um, the chambers, the organization that supports businesses and so on, so that we could reach more people, and that's a big part of it. And so what's happening now is we would get people that asking if they want to collaborate, and at the same time, when we see someone that's doing really good things for the community, for example, we're just asking to collaborate, just like what we're doing with you guys. What you're doing is amazing, and
Absolutely.
this right. So we're very grateful that there are shows like you, and others that are doing this, because it just all adds up to to having our community being recognized and so on.
Yes. Exactly. And I'm glad you brought that up because I remember, I think somehow I stumbled upon you guys, but it was your team that reached out to me and said, hey, we'd love to collaborate. I think I just happened to find your account and I liked and followed. And then somebody was so kind enough to reach out and say, hey, we really like your content. Let's definitely collaborate. I'm not sure exactly who it was, but
I
then
think it was me.
okay, it was you. Yeah, so you set up the appointment with me, and that's how we met. And I was so excited to get to know what you were working on, and just really glad that you could even be on the show. So I'm really, really thankful, really happy that we can have this kind of energy that's happening with our niche community. One of the other questions that I wanted to ask is, with all of our background as Filipinos, what would you say as far as, your culture and your upbringing? How has that also affected your work ethic? Like, what just makes Filipinos so strong in a positive sense?
So I think that's going to be like different sides of the story. I mean, I have my own share. You might have your own share. Demeven might have his own. But at least on my end, I would say that Filipinos are resilient. And it's because, one, the way, Philippines is developing, but it's still not like to the US level, right? But that has developed Filipinos into being resilient and more flexible. And so if Filipinos go to other countries and live and work there, they know how to adapt easily because they're used to like a difficult situation. And I think another thing is part of our culture is that we are I have the word at the tip of my tongue. Because why don't you go ahead, Demeven?
Yeah, you can definitely build up. And that's the thing. Like when I'll pass it on to Dem soon in a second too. It's just it's really interesting because I'm Filipino American, but my parents are from the Philippines and they raised me with more traditional upbringing. So it's a little bit of a mix of both. And I guess maybe I'm in that generation, like right at the tip where I'm definitely lazy, but then I still have a good work ethic.
That's what I'm trying to say.
You
Good
know what
work
I mean?
ethic. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
But it's fascinating that now that I'm a parent and finally growing up to be somewhat a little more mature than who I used to be and not appreciate my heritage and culture as much before. Now I just appreciate so much about just our heritage, and learning more about Filipinos and how we contribute so much to society. And that's one of the things that also keeps me going with this passion project, side hustle, if you want to call it, to empower other Filipinos who might feel like there's no way, there's any way that they could be an entrepreneur or in anything along those lines. So Dem, go ahead. I'll pass it on to you.
No, you guys are all, that's 100% true. I just wanted to add that because we do have, we do have our values, and of course we have, culturally speaking, we have some of those traits that that's not very very good. But knowing that is, is actually helping also because we know what happens when with that negative part of it. But with that said, we do have values and we do have the traits that makes us individual. There's a lot of Filipinos that are doing well in industries, like entertainment or what have you. But as a community, we still have a long way to go. So we do have the talents, we do have the values, but as a community, and that's why Adobers and shows like yours, they're important because this is what we're going to be helping with.
Yeah. So we're trying to bring the community together in our own several ways, but just providing the gateway or the platform to do that. In our way, it's the website. With you, it's your show, and with others, it's their craft. I agree that we have to build the community and make use of that and do things together. Like we're so used to doing ourselves on our own, and I think that's one of the traits of Filipinos because we're resilient, we're flexible, we're hardworking, and I think we need to start exploring, reaching out to other Filipinos in the community.
Yep.
That's such a great point. I'm so glad you brought that up. I feel like we would do well and even better if we actually supported one another even more. Like whether it's spreading the information or just referring business to one another. I know we're really, like you said, we're pretty independent, or we're taught to like not bother other people, right? Don't depend on others too much, or you don't want to bother people. But we and then so we get, for me, maybe I get a little stubborn too, but I think there is something to that, and I feel like we're just there at the tipping point, as helping, like igniting that fire, and hopefully we can make it go faster with the platforms that we're providing. So I'm
Onward,
really,
onward.
yeah.
Let's
So yes, let's do this. So I just have some other questions, because we still have a good amount of time. Out of curiosity, what would you say, would be your industry hero, industry figure hero, whether entrepreneurial, anybody who you feel like you can get inspired from? And also, if you happen to have any Filipino influencers that you also draw inspiration from.
Can it be not? Can it be a non-Filipino answer too?
Yes, absolutely, both.
Okay. So I would say it's different in many ways, but at least in reference for Adobers, I would say I look up to again, I forgot his name. He's the founder of Alibaba. What's his name again?
Oh yeah, Jack Ma.
Jack Ma. Yeah. So it's basically the same thing that we're doing here, just in different process and a different platform. But the way he founded the platform that he's starting now, the way he built the company, that's how I see Demeven and I doing it. So I look after him.
Dem, your turn.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm seeing that you're showing that thing on the screen. So for me, it's more of a the Philippine project is more of an inspiration for me. Is Manny Pacquiao. It's like I don't know if there's anyone that has ever brought that much attention to the Filipinos, with them. So and I'm sure I have no doubt there's going to be a lot more that would follow, and but it's just that one, his hard work and his humility, that was the reason I started Pinoy Rising, which is the apparel that I founded, and where I met JD.
Oh,
too.
cool! Awesome.
So yeah, so that's how it went. So that's it. But there's a lot of people in the industry that I'm looking up to, and trying to see how they're doing things, and just like what Jade is saying. But yeah, for me, the inspirations, it starts with the inspiration, and then everything else goes from there.
Yeah.
If you put them together, yeah. So I would say Dam's inspiration and my inspiration. Well, we started out in separate ways, but we put them together, and that's how we're building Adobers right now.
Yeah, that's so cool. So yeah, if we bring up that visual too, it's a shirt company. It's an apparel company, right? Pinoy Rising. So is that the one you were referring to?
Yeah,
Dem?
that's
awesome. That's so cool. And do you also have business partners as well that help you out with Adobers?
It's basically me and them.
Yeah.
And we collaborate with other professionals to help us things going and happen. And that's how we're making things happen.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So then you feature, and it pretty much like if somebody was interested in getting onto your website, what's the best way that they can sign up? Do they just go straight to your website? And with different industries it applies to, like for example, restaurants, if they want, like you mentioned, an author, what types of members are on the platform?
And any business in any industry can join, and it's as easy as going to the website. There's a sign in button at the top right, and just click on that, and you would see directions or instructions on how to sign up. You'll be logging in within seconds. So that one over there.
Okay, awesome.
You'll be logging in within seconds, and once you log in, just start creating your listing.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's really easy, and it's very effective once you have your listing. Yeah.
That's so cool. And here I have some other visuals. Is this one of the authors?
So these are some of the supporters of the book.
Oh,
So
cool.
when we, it's funny because when we start when I she actually reached out to us and said, oh, okay, I wanna have a featured listing and so on, and but with in her mind she really doesn't know how it's going to work, how it's going to how, I have a book, but it's how is that going to help me?
Yeah.
And the one thing I told her is about that, the support of the community. So might as well have that because you have this, everybody can buy the book, but you have this one whole group that would be more than willing to support you, and
Yeah.
that's how it went. And then wow, it's actually working. So it's just awesome. So
This is
things that
great.
you wouldn't think about that might work.
That's the other thing too, that's good, that it's a combination of it's the network that you're providing to the people who join the listing, and then they get exposure, and you have a decent following too on your Instagram. I have it open as well. Right here you have over 5,600 followers, and that's really good as a starting point as well. And you post often, you feature your members on this. I'm also guessing too. I mean, it looks like you are very good at that.
We also post non-members, and then
Oh, that's great.
Because we have a lot of resources that are out there, that that the community may not know about, and we just try to highlight those resources. And it doesn't have to be a business. We're also highlighting events and other things as well.
Yeah, and I know at some point you can't support this if there's no financial aspect to it, right? So I'm thinking it's nice that there is some payment towards. I'm guessing there is, right?
There
So
is
go
for the
ahead and
featured,
explain
yeah.
that part. Yeah.
So for any business to come and join the community, it's free, and we're inviting every single Filipino American or full Filipino business owner
Filipino
to come
supporters.
and to the Filipino supporters,
Yes.
yeah, and not just the business owners themselves, but the customers, because the network is nothing without the community. So it's the business owners and the community, and we're inviting you to join, and it's free to join. Now, if the businesses want to be seen more and want to be featured more, we offer this package called the featured listing, which will enhance your visibility on the website, on the social media, or basically our entire network of businesses and community members.
That's wonderful. And I think you also do a major benefit to the community of Filipinos who might have a hard time with online presence. Like they might not have a website, they might not have a great handle with social media. I think the generation that's a little bit older than me, obviously, they just don't know how to start and get any actual exposure. So this is a great starting point for anyone who wants to explore a listing like this.
Yeah, and to add up to that, so in my experience as a web designer and developer, I feel like Filipinos aren't ready yet to take businesses into having their own websites. If they have their own websites, it's outdated. So this is like a good way to be seen on the web.
Yeah.
Without having to manage your own website, without having to put out your resources in maintaining your own website.
This is great. I'm looking at the listing pages too, and it looks like you're able to locate them. And I'm so glad you're doing this. It's really true. Sometimes managing and maintaining a website takes a lot of time, and sometimes you have to hire somebody. If you hired somebody to begin with, right, you know this experience, and you can't even fix the changes or update it as much, then it's just a pain. It's just a pain. It looks like you made this super user-friendly for people to even update on their own.
And that's one of the feedback that we get from people who are using it. I mean, there's other directory platforms out there, but we get feedback that it looks good and it's easy to use.
That's awesome.
And a lot of people, even if they do have a website, they're using this as a supplement to drive more traffic to their business, and that's a pretty good way. And especially it's to use the basic platform. It's free, so it can take you a long way.
Yeah, that's great. You brought that up too. And does this also help with SEO? I mean, the more listings you're on, this should help with directing to your traffic to your website, right?
Yeah. So it's going to be like an offsite SEO, meaning it's not on your website, it's not on your social media page, but it has links going to your own business pages or website. So it helps with SEO. Speaking of SEO, happy to share that sometime, I think that was August or September, we have a listing that ranked 3rd in Google search results.
What? That's awesome.
And that's without any hard effort SEO. This is like being
really cool.
on the website. That's being on Adobers.
And that is, I'm guessing you're not even running ads yet.
We will eventually.
Yeah.
And as we speak, we're building the next version of the platform.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where the ads are going to happen.
That's exciting. I'm so glad you brought that up. Like, yeah, mention what is there in the future? What would you say that's been in development? You mentioned there's the next version of it. Is there some other things that you're able to announce publicly? We want to hear about it.
I'm just gonna.
There's one actually.
You got your partner right here.
We're very excited because it's not just the online. We're doing other things as well, and with everything opening up, well, it's kind of opening up, not opening up, but we'll just say this, JV, right? October, there's something big that's gonna happen. So we would like you all to tune into that. And
something
that's a
big, guys.
Live event. Right, JV?
Oh my goodness, that is awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's so exciting. That's awesome. I mean, if you happen to throw a virtual event, I'll be there. Like, I don't get to travel much because of having 4 kids. It's not the cheapest thing to do, but every once in a while, I would love to join in any of your events. And, I don't want to conclude with this. I'm not sure if there's any questions out there that I missed. My co-host and behind the scenes person, Chrissy, is fielding those questions. Again, for those of you who are watching or catching this recording later on, oh, it looks like somebody did pop on. This is awesome. This is great. Thank you, Vanessa, for hopping on. Yes. So for those of you who might have a question later on, we are going to have the links in the comments for the YouTube recording. We timestamp these interviews for your convenience and also link to Adober's site. All of my guests will be featured and linked out with all their socials as well. So one last question, if there aren't any other piercing questions, unless you guys wanted to contribute, what's your empowering message to the Filipino American entrepreneurial community or for the global Filipino community? Who wants to start?
Okay, he tagged me. So, first of all, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate that you've been interested in us. And who are these 2 blokes getting online, talking to Julia and getting on the show? But let me tell you, we'd like to invite you, not just to, we want to invite you to go online and join our community. It's because joining our community is working together. We'd like to invite you to work together with us to represent the Filipinos in the U.S., Filipino American businesses, Filipino American communities, every Filipino American in the U.S. Right now, the biggest activity is happening in Southern California, but we're also present in other states of the U.S. So we'd like to build this community with you. We want to reach out with you. We want you to reach out to us. And we want to collaborate with you to foster this big Filipino American community and put our name in the map. Go ahead, Dem.
I just want to thank JV for saying everything else, so I don't have to say anything more. But yeah, please support the Filipino community. Let's support each other. And thank you so much for having us today, Julia.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for being on as one of my first guests. It's such a pleasure, a privilege to have you on, and y'all are doing amazing. You guys are going to make things happen, even things that we probably didn't even imagine. I could see the collabs happening within the community and starting some brilliant, brilliant ideas that will change and benefit everything that happens with all of us across the globe, because we're spread out everywhere, right?
Yep.
Where is it? Aren't they? There's quite a few in the UAE area. I know that I'm seeing, all over. I'd love to see even influencers like sign on with Adobers and then just see how we can help one another and help our businesses grow. So for those of you who are watching, like and follow Adobers, look at their Instagram and Facebook, sign up for their listing. You have their contact info right here. Is there anything else that you want to end with? I don't want to be that last person to say, but I will just encourage you all to watch out for my future guests. I am going to have some really awesome guests in the following couple months. My cousin, who's an aviation pilot, he's really interested in being on the show. And so I'm really excited to have him as well. And depending on who's available on which month, we'll feature them as soon as we find out that information. And of course, I invite you, JV, and Dem. I keep saying Dem because it's super easy. Demeven, if you know of anybody also who would love to be on the show, I would love for you to just refer them my way, and it will feature them and also feature their listing on Adobers.
You might just ask the two right people to ask that from. You might have someone for you. Maybe a crew for you.
Yeah, you're the best people to ask for sure. Well, thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys, for hopping on and watching this show. See you guys and have a great day.